All right, so let's do it. All right, Cancer, this is you. This is Star Illumination. This is your general report for December 2017. You know the drill, you've done it before. Watch for your sun, moon, rising, all of it. Reinterpret to suit yourselves. And some people like to do the big cross-watch thing for the significant others in their lives. Go for it, you know. Cards are well shuffled in advance, but we're going to do some of it live now, so that you're a witness. And we don't do, you know, oracles, and I don't have any of that. I do, but I don't like to do it. So we're just doing the very basics. No reversals, none of it, okay? So Cancer, this big Jupiter and Scorpio thing going on, it's quite supportive for you because it's happening in your fifth house of like love and romance, creative expression, business, excitement, risks, fun, being happy. So there's a good chance for that now. But of course, you know, with Jupiter there, it could also expose the things that aren't working in a big way. Okay, a lot of revealing is going to go on here with the Jupiter and Scorpio because it's going to the very, very, very depths of things. What else? So, you know, you got that Leo North Node thing going on in the second house, how to be more awesome when it comes to your self-worth and value and money. And with December coming up, for everybody, there's this huge shift of planets going into Sagittarius before it all moves over into the new year. Saturn moves into Capricorn. So it's going to be a big shift for you, Cancer, especially when it comes to things like health, work, habits, practices, and spirituality. Okay, so we'll see. Okay, cards are shuffled. Going to go to the last second. Keeping it clear. I want a really clear deck. You'll see in a moment. All right, okay, so let's cut it and then do your spread, okay? I want to do a big, fat, wide one like that. Okay, this one, and then this one. All right, so I like to think of it as a journey of the heart. We're always moving through this thing called time. This would be the core heart energy, the pulsing heart of you. This would be legacy energy, where you're coming from. It could be the last 12 years of a Jupiter-Scorpio cycle, you know? Could be the last few months. Very turbulent for a lot of people, okay? This is the energy of the ever-present now. This is you as you live through this time period, always in the moment of now, even though you're leaving what you feel as a past and perceiving what you see as a future. And in so doing, as you live in the moment, you hopefully are one of those folks who deliberately, consciously make decisions, okay? So that you can create your life as opposed to letting life happen to you. And so making those decisions, how you do that in the most loving way, that it's loving for you, what works for you best, okay? Because that's what works best for everyone else. There's no point in making phony, fake decisions that are very unloving and self-undoing, okay? What's the point? Just to accommodate the rest of the world? No. So this is going to be like what would show up pending the decisions that you make, okay? If you think, you know, if you want to let life happen to you and outsource all your decisions so you end up effectively become like a floating cork in a river, great. Then this would feel like fate. Otherwise, it's nice to take charge. This is the energy of kind of what if, like making these decisions, bold decisions. You're always facing into what you might perceive as the unknown. And that's scary for a lot of people. You know, cancers, you're very, very sensitive, super hypersensitive, some of you, like the psychics and the mediums and the readers and all of those people. A lot of them have very strong Cancerian energy, for example, maybe mixed up with Pisces and Scorpio, for example, or maybe a lot of Earth. But anyway, sometimes Cancer, you can be a little bit shy about making really big decisions because you just want to like hunker down with what works already, okay, for safety and stability. And so, you know, there's a lot at risk when you're making decisions. Like, what if it all works? Great. What if it all doesn't work? Oh no. So where does that lead us? You know, depending on the outcomes here. So can you see, well, we're going to look at this card in a moment. Think of it as weather, circumstantial, and you're going to make the best of it like we all have to anyway, rain or shine, all right? So can you see the heart shape here? Can you see that? I hope you get it, all right? That's the journey, okay, here. And this is you pulsing at the core. maybe not even understanding who you are, what you are, but you are alive. You are a living sentient being, and you do have the ability to make decisions. What's going on? Okay, start first of all. Let's have a look. Okay, it looks like all the cards are upside down. I'm sorry. Let me just check. Yeah, because sorry about that. Talk about not doing reversals. Okay, and if people think I should really do the whole thing, I really don't want to do that. I don't think that's the right thing to do right now. I know you could say that, but I don't feel that. Let me just check. Yeah, see? So the energy is all about happiness, owning it, having it, wishing it, dreaming it, uh, manifesting it into being so that it is something that you can own. And you do have this chance right now, especially when it comes to love and romance, creative self-expression, and so on. This is not a relationship reading. That's another playlist coming up shortly, okay, for December. This is just general broad energy, okay, and you can reinterpret however you want. We're just dealing with the energy. So the circumstantial energy is like a reminder, like dung 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 dung, hello Cancer, just letting you know. Let's just say this is like the weather, like angelic presence, like the energy of heaven is just right there, right in your face, saying, dear Cancer, this is an amazing chance, situation, circumstance for you to actually own it, to actually have a glimpse and a taste of what it's really, really like to have that much love in your life, in your world. It's true. It really, really exists. Joy is real. Joy is ecstatic. It's wonderful. It's something that you own from the inside. It's not about thrills and experience and excitement from the exterior. Joy comes from the inside. This is someone who understands it and owns it. Okay? And now they're just figuring out what to do with it all. So let's have a look. Let's just have some fun here and have a look. All right, Cancer. So it's good it's very opportune for you. All right, let's have a look. Okay, so let's just say you understand it's a work. It is work. It's a chore. Okay, but that's okay. Love is as love does. This is a really good time to understand, Cancer. You probably kind of get it already in that, you know, from the tarot illumination perspective, love is as love does. This is not a love relationship reading, but love and healing are very elemental themes with tarot illumination. How to allow the love to flow into our lives, being loving, being loved. And it's an understanding that it is work. It can be work. If you think of love as the deliberate, willful, conscious decision to extend yourself above and beyond your existing comfort zone in order to support and nurture the spiritual growth of yourself, heal yourself and your loved ones, that's love. It's not always easy. It's not always fun extending yourself, having to stay up late with a child, having to do a double shift at work, having to cover for someone else who messed up, having to help someone recover from an illness. It's work, but it's very, very loving work. Okay, and that's what happens with the Seven of Pentacles here. It's an understanding that it's like an investment. Love is as love does, and you are literally constantly, permanently, regularly planting seeds and nurturing and growing and tending the seeds like a farmer, and then reaping the fruits. Okay, but it's an ongoing process. This is an energy that your heart is saying, I get it, I want it, I'm okay with it, I can handle it, I'm willing to do the work, I'm not sure what it is, I'm figuring it out as I go along. And yes, I admit that there is perhaps a long way to go, but it really, really looks like it's worth it, and that's what I want. That's what I need. That's what I deserve. If you want to think of Pentacles as tangible evidence of love is as love does, that's how I would be interpreting this right now, as opposed to the romance thing, as opposed to the poetry and the music. Yes, that's good, but I'm seeing this as like solid evidence of love moving into and through your life, that you are being loving and you are being loved, okay? On the understanding that it is, I don't want to knock it, but I don't know what else to say, what other word to use. It's work. It's like an investment, and it's really worthy. Okay, it's a really worthy investment. What are you bringing in with you? Okay, the desire for this to happen. It's like somewhere inside of you, you've already figured out like the early stages of understanding. Like, I get it. I get it. I totally get it. Love is as love does. It is, I don't want to say a chore. It is work. It's an investment. It is deliberately putting in the time and the energy and the effort, like a good parent raising a child, like a good teacher teaching their class, a good student learning what they have to learn, a good spouse or a good mate, being a good mate for the other, going out of your way, extending yourself with hard evidence, provable, tangible, worthwhile, let's say, actions, words, deeds, and evidence of extending love in a way that actually works, is tangible, and can be appreciated by the significant others in your life and your world, and especially yourself. Investing in yourself, loving yourself, putting in the work in to be you, the new you. Okay, so like we talked about the Jupiter thing, Jupiter and Scorpio around your fifth house of creativity, love, and romance. There's also like I don't want to get into the astrology. That's a whole other. It'll take 10 times as long. Okay, so you're bringing in the activity of or you're already doing the investment. You understand it, your heart gets it, and you're pulsing with that energy, and you've already done a lot of homework, and you are determined to continue on that path, which is good because you're seeing evidence of how it actually works. You're actually seeing, like, wow, when I invest, when I do the work, when I extend myself in the way that love is as love does, this is what happens. You learn it. It can be learned. It can be understood and it shows up with tangible evidence where you are loved and you are appreciated and you are highly valued. That value comes back to you as you extend that value to others. What about the present? Okay, so you might be learning and living and feeling all this, dear Cancer. Some people think of this as your card, in a way that is associated with lessons that might be learned through hard, really tough lessons in the past, especially in relationship dynamics. You might have a very long history of this relationship or that relationship or that relationship where you've learned about what didn't work and how this didn't work. But in so doing, you also learn what does work, okay? And you continue to invest in what does work, and you remove and take away your resources from feeding those into what doesn't work. And you learn this through it's like in the context of really sweet, gentle, loving, really, I feel like very intimate relationships where it has that very like warm, snuggly, cuddly feel. I don't want to get too over the top with the gooiness here in the reading, but I'm feeling a lot of love here, Cancer, a tremendous amount of love, where in this present moment, you might be aware that somewhere in your world, you are, let's say, figuring out what you have to figure out in the context of loving relationships, including perhaps a very, very specific loving relationship, perhaps someone from the past life who's coming back into your world. Some people might think of it as a twin flame or a deep soulmate, and you are both learning and growing and loving together. Again, it's not a love and relationship reading. Those are going to be another playlist, but the energy of love here is very, very strong, okay? And it's hard to not think of other people in that regard. So let's see, making decisions, when it comes to moving forward with all this realization of good intentions and how it actually works and how you're seeing evidence of love manifesting in your life, especially that it's being reciprocated by someone who you may deeply cherish, someone who is resonating at your frequencies, getting that same vibe from you and pulsing that wonderful feeling like, oh my gosh, I've struck gold. And I always knew it was you. And they kind of go boom, 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 boom. Oh yeah. And I knew it was you too. I knew all along, but it took a long time for us to figure it out. But now here we are. Okay. So making the decisions, what do we do in the moment? Because this is very swirly love energy. And, it could be easy to get, let's say, caught up in the past and make decisions based on the past, but we're living in the present. Now, you can bring, let's say, uh, deeply loving relationship dynamics into the present and then make your decisions in the present. That would be the way to do it on the understanding of what you've learned from the past. So, when you're making decisions, it's on the understanding that there's deep transformation going on, and the decisions that you make are going to have profoundly transformational outcomes on you, for you, dear Cancer, and for significant others in your world. Okay? There's nothing wrong with that. Do not be scared of this card. It's a beautiful card. Death, Death card. It's ultimately a card about healing. From the Tarot Lumination perspective, it's making these really, really tough decisions to allow, let's say, call it fate, allow fate to remove whatever it is that you do not need, you do not want, that is no longer healthy for you, to make room for what is healthy for you and allow for a new dawn and a new horizon, the healing power of love, especially when it comes to vibrational energy healing. This is very, very deeply uh, aligned with the Jupiter and Scorpio dynamic right now, which is ultimately on its highest vibration, is very much about deep soul vibrational energy healing, which can involve the energy of going very, very, very deep with perhaps a significant other with whom you can share at the most deep and intimate levels, at the deep soul level, understanding that it's worth it. It's worth going there, going into those shadow places where people would never normally dare to go, and then coming out the other side, having learned what you need to learn, having discovered what doesn't work, even though it might be very, very scary to do that. It's okay, because it's ultimately very, very good for you. It's just heavy duty, very, very deep. Okay, going deep to the soul, going to the very depths of the soul. So how do we do that without getting lost and scared? Okay, just let it flow, man. I don't know who's watching, if you're male, female, younger, older, gay, straight, whatever, at school, a retiree, it kind of doesn't matter. I'm just talking about broad energy here. So let's say you get it. You understand what we're talking about. You understand that in this vortex over the next year, this is a tremendous opportunity for deep soul healing, as it's very strongly in alignment with the Jupiter in Scorpio thing, aligned with the Neptune and Pisces thing. So that's very supportive for long-term healing processes where you understand it is work. It's pay attention, do the work. What is it that has to be done in order to nurture and grow love? Of course, love of self. So first of all, discover what's not working, what needs to be shed, lost, and released from your own life, in your own world, in order that the new can come in. And it's very much about expression. My feeling here is that with the Eight of Wands, it could even include passionate expression, person to person. Okay, deep intimacy. Okay, the obvious word that you can imagine between one consenting person and another, where there's deep love exchange that can be done only body to body, person to person. It's a very, very beautiful thing. And allowing for that, it's almost like sexual healing. Let's put it that way. That's what I'm feeling is happening for you, Cancer, where there might be a tremendous amount of deep wounding in that department in life. And now it's time to deal with it. Allow those things to come to the surface so that they can be healed and treat it as a very joyful, beautiful opportunity for deep, deep soul healing in the way that can only occur in the context of a significant other who is willing to go that deep with you, who has their own issues that can only be resolved in the context of, let's say, a soulmate type situation. Even though this is not a relationship reading. Thank you very much. I just want to qualify that. Okay. So it's really important to like allow the raw passion to flow. Like once you've discovered like this is not working, this is not appropriate, jump on it, run with it. If it's like a weed or a virus or a bacteria, a psychic mental pollution, whatever it is, delete and allow the new stuff to come in, and the new stuff, celebrate it. Get off on it. Really enjoy it. Where does that take you? Okay. Back to where you need to be. Back into like, wow, it actually works. It's almost like, oh, the investment process, the investment procedures, the strategies actually work. When you do that, when you do these types of very uh, radical forms of self-healing, radical forms of deep vibrational soul healing, where you get to the real core of things, where things might be very deeply corroded, rusted, obsolete, you know, fungally infected, bacterially infected, virally infected throughout your life, your body, your whole world, and you clean out some of that goop. It's amazing. It's just like, you know, being a really diligent farmer so that you get really awesome crop. And when you do that and you put the work in diligently, you get this. You get almost so much abundance that you don't know hardly what to do with it. And this isn't just wooey wooey love up in the clouds and the planets and like, oh, sweet song, I love you so. It isn't that. It's actual tangible evidence, like the ability to share your gifts and talents with others and love, and the others to have the ability to share their gifts and talents and love with you. It's very reciprocal here, to the point where it's almost like you become a generator. Like when you allow that much energy to flow, it's beautiful for you. What happens if you mess it up? Well, it's good. And if you make the healthy decisions, it allows you to move on, to be who you are, where you need to go. Okay? Because there's a lot of stuff that needs to be left behind here. Okay? Please allow the cutting, the surgical removal of anything that's no longer good for you. Please allow it to fall away and then move along with everything that's good for you. And bring your loved ones with you. Where does that take you? To a stark new realization that there's a whole lot more to learn. So we're still at the very early stages of the Jupiter in Scorpio phase. And by the way, also Saturn is going to be moving into Capricorn very soon. So that's going to enter your seventh house of profound relationships, things like marriage, business contracts, one-on-one business partnerships, deep, deep, deliberate, person-to-person, contractual, publicly acknowledged relationships. It could resonate in marriage, for example. And that's the understanding like, oh my gosh, there's a whole new journey just starting. We just finished this one. But it's very harmonious for you, Cancer. It's lucky because, you know, even though Saturn is going to go into your seventh house and it could really, really bring up a lot of lessons and learning for you in the area of profound one-on-one relationships. That's good because there is always a lot to learn in that department, and you're coming out into more of a public arena where it's going to be very much more evident. So like the more you invest, the better it gets, and then the better it gets, the better it gets, and you realize, oh my gosh, there's still more to do, still more to do. The good farmer, the good farmer, the good custodian, you, Cancer, being someone who understands the energy of nurture, care, and attention, just like being a good homemaker. Doesn't matter if you're a guy or a girl. Some guys are very, very good at nurture, care, home, loving, being loved, uh, being that person. Women do it a lot naturally too. A lot of women are very empowered, but you can do the same empowerment thing here. Invest in yourself. Allow the healing power of love to move in by removing the obstacles. Duh. Weeding the obstacles. That's all it is. And realizing there's always more to learn, more to grow, and more investing to do. Okay? It's beautiful. Thank you, Cancer. I'm very happy for you. I really am. Please make the best of it. Thanks for visiting Tarot Lumination. Bye bye.